In the black waters of Guadalcanal, Japanese sailors whispered about an American cruiser whose guns did not fire in salvos. They roared in a continuous storm. They said it sounded like fabric being ripped apart by steel claws. They were not exaggerating. USS Helena, hull number CL-50, had earned a reputation that spread through the Imperial Navy like a warning. She had survived Pearl Harbor when many ships did not, and she had come back angry. But Helena's story did not begin in battle. It began in 1936, during the depths of the Great Depression, when American shipbuilders at the Brooklyn Navy Yard laid down her keel. She was part of the St. Louis-class light cruisers, sleek, fast, and heavily armed. At 608 feet long and armed with 15 6-inch guns in 5 triple turrets, Helena was designed to deliver crushing firepower while maintaining speed. Each of her main guns could fire up to 10 rounds per minute. At full fury, she could hurl nearly 150 shells every 60 seconds. That kind of output was unheard of. It would earn her a nickname she would carry into legend: the machine gun cruiser. Commissioned in 1939, Helena's early days were routine patrols and training cruises. But history was accelerating. By 1940, she joined the Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor. Her crew drilled constantly: gunnery, damage control, navigation, preparing for a war that seemed increasingly inevitable. On the morning of December 7, 1941, that war arrived. Helena was moored in Pearl Harbor's Navy Yard when Japanese aircraft attacked. A torpedo intended for a battleship instead struck her hull with devastating force. The explosion tore into her engineering spaces, killing dozens instantly and flooding compartments with seawater. 40 men would die that morning aboard Helena, but the ship did not sink. Within minutes, her crew restored power. Anti-aircraft guns thundered back at the attackers. Despite severe damage, Helena stayed afloat. While other ships lay burning or capsized, she fought to survive. It was a moment that defined her character. She would not die quietly. After emergency repairs in Hawaii and a full refit at Mare Island, Helena returned to the Pacific transformed. She received upgraded anti-aircraft weapons and, most importantly, the new SG surface search radar, a technological edge that would change naval warfare. Radar allowed Helena to see in darkness, through fog and rain, long before enemy lookouts spotted her silhouette. In the coming battles of the Solomon Islands, that advantage would prove decisive. By October 1942, the war for Guadalcanal was raging. Japanese destroyers ran nightly supply missions down the slot, reinforcing troops under cover of darkness. These runs became known as the Tokyo Express. American ships needed ships that could fight at night, and Helena was ready. At the Battle of Cape Esperance on October 11th, Helena's radar detected the approaching Japanese force before they even knew Americans were present. When permission to fire finally came, her guns erupted. Salvo after salvo slammed into Japanese cruisers at close range. In minutes, enemy ships were burning. Admiral Aritomo Goto was killed when Helena's shells tore through his flagship's bridge. It was America's first clear surface victory against Japan in the Pacific. Helena's rapid fire left an impression that would linger long after the smoke cleared. A month later, during the brutal naval battle of Guadalcanal, Helena again proved her worth. In the chaos of close-range combat, where ships exchanged fire at distances under 5,000 yards, her radar-directed guns struck destroyers and battleships alike. While confusion and friendly fire plagued the engagement, Helena's gunnery remained relentless. She helped cripple the battleship He, marking the first Japanese battleship lost in the war. Henderson Field survived. The balance in the Solomons began to shift. But war in the Solomons was relentless.
Between major battles, Helena bombarded shore positions, escorted convoys, and patrolled waters filled with submarines and torpedoes. The tropical heat, disease, and exhaustion wore down her crew as much as enemy fire. Yet morale endured. They had survived Pearl Harbor. They had fought and won in the dark. Confidence replaced fear. By mid-1943, the campaign moved north toward New Georgia. On the night of July 5th, 6th, Helena entered Kula Gulf as part of a task force sent to intercept another Tokyo Express run. Once again, her radar detected the enemy first. Once again, her guns opened fire with devastating accuracy. In minutes, she destroyed the Japanese destroyer Nizuki, killing Admiral Teru Akiyama. But this time, the enemy struck back. Japanese destroyers launched spreads of Type 93 long-lance torpedoes, powerful, long-range weapons fueled by oxygen. Nearly 50 torpedoes sliced through the water toward the American formation. Helena's rapid-fire guns illuminated her position when flashless powder ran out. In the darkness, she became a beacon. At 2:03 a.m., 3 torpedoes hit. The first detonated forward, triggering catastrophic destruction. The second and third struck amidships, breaking her keel. Within minutes, Helena was mortally wounded. But even as she began to sink, her aft turrets continued firing. Gun crews stayed at their posts until water flooded their compartments. The cruiser that had survived Pearl Harbor fought until the ocean claimed her. She broke apart and sank into the black waters of Kula Gulf. Rescue operations were heroic and desperate. Destroyers Nicholas and Radford pulled hundreds of oil-covered survivors from the sea under threat of renewed attack. Others clung to floating wreckage for days, enduring sun, sharks, and strafing aircraft before eventual rescue. Of her crew, 168 men were lost. Over 700 survived. Helena's service earned 7 battle stars and the Navy Unit Commendation, the first ever awarded to a ship. Her radar tactics became doctrine. Lessons learned from her loss shaped improvements in ammunition handling and night combat procedures. For decades, she rested in 2,800 feet of water, her final position unknown. In 2018, explorers located her wreck. Cameras revealed her stern, hull number 50 still visible. Her turrets remained trained outward, as if still searching for targets. USS Helena was not the largest ship in the Pacific. She was not a battleship or a carrier, but she embodied something essential about the American war effort: resilience, innovation, and determination. Built in the Depression, blooded at Pearl Harbor, and hardened in the Solomons, she proved that speed, technology, and courage could challenge even the most seasoned enemy. The Japanese were right to fear her. Not because she was invincible, she wasn't, but because she refused to stop fighting. Even in the darkness of Kula Gulf, Helena kept firing. And that is why she is remembered.